is product thinking? At its most basic level, product thinking is basically just connecting all the dots between disciplines to come up with more strategic work. I think the thing we need to start off with, though, is just journalism is a product. Journalists produce content. We produce news websites. We produce subscription services. We produce newsletters. We produce membership programs. We're producing content in a way that needs to be packaged and strategically thought out so that we can think about how it connects to our business goals, how it really serves our audiences, and how we're making the best use of technology and the resources available to us. We want to create journalism that serves and empowers our audiences and sustains our news industry. So the original product model that technology companies look to is a Venn diagram of sorts. You see business, technology, and audience, and right in the middle of that is product. For ethical reasons, journalists draw a pretty firm line between business and editorial. And we need to keep that line. Like, advertisers, people in power should not be paying to influence our work, and we shouldn't create products that are serving their needs. We need to be a voice of our audience, of the people who need our journalism, who are informed and empowered by our journalism. But that doesn't mean it's unethical to think about how we can sustain our industry, like how we can create profitable products or how we can create things that are going to make enough money for us to really support the jobs the newsroom needs. A big part of being a product manager in a newsroom is understanding newsroom culture, journalism ethics, and how we can work with those dynamics to build products that inform and empower our audiences while also sustaining our organization and keeping pace with technology. So here's an example of something that could use a little product thinking. Take stories of record. We all know a local news reporter who goes to a school board meeting, spends 8 hours there, and then writes a story that 250 people read. And it's worth asking, like, what is the value of this story? As journalists, we know that we're documenting something that no one else is there to see, and that if we weren't there, if we weren't the eyes and ears, that would be lost and people in power wouldn't be held accountable for their actions. So yes, it's worth doing that story. But does it really serve a bottom line or empower our readers if no one's really seeing it? And does it really serve our organization if we're putting a lot of resources into covering this story, but advertisers don't really care about being on this story, or our donors don't really think that it's really producing enough common good, so they don't necessarily want to keep funding us? We need to think about that. Like, how can we do all of these things at once? We need to ask these questions, and they're difficult and uncomfortable questions to ask, but they're not unsolvable problems. You just have to first pose the question before you can solve it. I mean, take the example that we just thought about with stories of record. City Bureau in Chicago has a whole program called Documenters where they get regular citizens to go to these meetings and attend them, and they're creating a community around this work, and they're creating a reason why people want to fund their journalism and be a part of it and creating more reach for that journalism. We need to be thinking a little bit outside of the box and how we can create solutions that sustain our organization and empower our journalists and really get people the information that they need to make decisions in this world. Product thinking is essentially taking all of these core skills that make a great journalist: curiosity, passion, empathy, the need to expose problems and find solutions, and turning it inward on our own work and our news organizations. In the next video, Shannon Bowen's going to go a little bit deeper in how to think holistically, how to become one of those people who thinks about business, technology, and audience and editorial all in the same breath. And then Emma Kara-Grobem is going to expand on this concept by expanding some examples of newsroom roles that already use product thinking or could benefit from more product thinking, so that you can kind of have a better sense of maybe just looking around you, people who are already kind of doing this, or how you're already kind of doing it yourself. That's it for now.